Okay.
On your mark. Oh, let's count to 10. 9,
9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're going to get each other. But
I didn't know she had
a rotary cutter.
I didn't know she had a rotary. I've got
Yours is bigger.
My rotary cutter's bigger than your rotary cutter.
Well, okay.
But your spinner is bigger than my spinner.
Yeah, but this is not a competition.
Oh, it's not?
Well, no, it's just an opportunity to show what we love about the thing.
Okay.
That makes us happy.
Okay.
What makes you happy makes you happy. What makes me happy, but we're still friends.
Oh, we are friends, definitely. And we love to sew, so that, that's our common ground right there.
And at the end of the day, no right or wrong, but preferences.
Right. Because, I say a creative grid is my favorite ruler.
Right.
And you say?
I sort of like Quilter Select, but there's some creative grids I like too.
Well, they've been around a little bit longer, so they've produced a lot more different ones. But to each his own. Everybody likes their own stuff, and they get in their groove.
Right.
And I had never really used a spinning, rotating mat before. And you said, "Oh, you've got to use this one. You got to use it. I love this one. I love this one." And so,
not as much.
Yeah.
But your friend Tammy, because it's
I
Tammy.
went to Moda and I got all the spinning ones out.
Yeah, and tried them all.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Heck yeah.
You did market research.
I did market research because I was going to find me one that
you liked.
That I liked.
Well, we've had this one before.
Well, we still have them in
and
stock now.
We've got a dozen of them. And
now, tell us what you love about this one. Oh, by the way, people, we're here
today.
We're just chatting away. Look, Cappy. This is Cappy. I'm Dawn. And we're here at Always in Stitches in Noblesville, Indiana. Peter's behind the camera.
Hi, guys.
We're just like Deborah.
I know. Like they weren't even here.
Sorry. Would you like to join our party?
Yeah, come on in. We're going to talk about rotating mats today. Because we're going to have a spin-off. We're going to have a spin-off. That's why I thought it was a competition, but obviously it's not.
It is a I'm not a real competitive person.
It's not really a competition because it's going to just be,
good.
It's just going to be, you're going to show things about this one that you love, and I'm going to show things about this one that I love, and guess what? They both do the same thing.
They do.
All three of them, really.
We brought this little one, it does the same thing.
Yeah.
Concept is the same, but function is different for different people.
Correct. And you can see yours has different lines.
You can see I've used it.
I've had different, different lines. So different reasons, different things. So tell me what the first thing was about this that you fell in love with.
Well, okay, so the first thing that I ever used it for was I was doing just half square triangles. And I had to, square them up, get the corners. You got your little wingy-doos that you got to swing off.
So let me have one.
Yeah.
So what are you going to square it up to?
So I think this one has to be 2.5. Yeah, this one has to be 2.5. I didn't press that very well. But she's not quite pressed
open.
Not pressed open.
Just saying.
Just saying. She's not pressed well. But when I'm squaring up to 2.5, and this is I do like this creative grid ruler.
Yeah, I love those.
So I'm gonna hit my 2.5 on this.
And also you have that line.
And you have your line to go on. And what I like is when I get everybody in the right spot. Yeah, and I have my extra, and see I have my eensy teensy little girl, and then I'm just that, and I'm, see, that's what makes me happy, because then I'm not going backwards. I retain all my fingers.
That's good.
Which is always good. I want to start and stop with the same amount of fingers I started with, and it just allows me to do those 2 cuts without losing.
Okay.
And see, this has my little space where I'm rolling off.
Okay. So I could do that with my rotary mat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But let me introduce you to this, Cappy.
I know. She's got that ruler over there. Listen to her.
Wait, she's walking away. She already left.
She's out of here, man. I would not be doing it that way. I would not be pressing them veins open until I sized them up with my quarter square triangle square up
she
ruler.
loves that one.
And 2.5 is what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, 2.5.
And so I just put that right on the seam line. Yeah, the stitching line. And instead of 4 cuts,
Your 2 cuts.
I can do 2 cuts, and then it's perfectly perfect. All I'm going to do here is cut off these little
Your wings.
things, my little wings. And then once I got them all cut, I would take them over and press them open, and then they would be perfect
There you
2.5 inches.
Well-
but let me try that, Cappy. Let me just try that, because she did press me one open. So let me just
I
try
pressed it to the
that.
side. But that was the first time I used it. That was your question. The first time I used
Yeah.
this was for
For that
squaring up.
particular squaring up.
And I was amazed. It was just
And
like
squaring
the
up
silliest.
is really, really important.
And it's so time consuming.
And, you know, even when you have like a pieced block, like we're doing those 4-inch blocks.
Yep.
Now, see, that's when this is going to come really in handy because of having to do it. You can't square them up. I mean, you can't do it with this ruler.
Well, and
that's just for half square triangles.
the other thing I like about the rotating mat, no matter which rotating mat you're using, is your piece of fabric stays stationary.
Right. And
So
it's
I'm
not moving.
and I think I probably did slide it around. But the point is, you can put that in the middle of your rotating mat. You can cut it and turn it, and your fabric stays in the same spot. So
Right.
you don't take that chance of moving it around and changing where it's at. You get
So,
it nice
like-
straight.
So, like if I was doing this pieced one, it's the same concept. You just and then you can turn it. You don't even have to move your ruler.
Right.
You just
Exactly.
So, same thing. So,
Yeah, and
excellent.
that's my goal. Is I
Yeah.
want to not slide my fabric around any more than I have to.
Yeah, now I noticed that yours does not make a nice noise when you turn
Well,
it.
my is always not always working. My
Oh, yeah. That's the turntable.
the official turn.
The
Oh no, it's the what? It's like the beatbox thing.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah. That's
We're
that's
cool.
my
We're cool.
Maybe I should use a different consonant than the S.
That might be dangerous. It could be dangerous. Okay, so
that's one thing that you liked about it the best.
so
one of the things.
that's what started.
Okay, that's what started.
Then
Squaring up, and that's a
Squaring
good reason to have a rotary
love for that.
rotating mat.
But then I got into this English paper piecing thing,
Oh, nice.
and so there's a whole English paper piecing thing going on.
Uh-huh.
And
Very
then
popular.
I got into these funny shaped pieces.
Mm.
And when I'm doing those, I really don't want this to move around.
Right, correct.
And I don't want to change it. So if I want that line in the right place, that's when this was like my aha moment. Because I could cut, I can turn, I can cut, I can turn, I can cut, I can turn, I can cut. And I'm always...
And your template's not moving in the fabric underneath
Right.
the template.
Everybody's hanging out in the same spot.
Yeah.
And she comes
Awesome.
out right. So,
Awesome.
so that was the real. That was my real aha.
So I too do template cutting, but I don't do that English paper piecing stuff. I love to do it, but I just don't have time anymore. But I use these Marty Michelle templates
Yep,
a lot
love
for
her.
weird
Hold on.
shapes.
Let me get a good-
This one's called the crown, and this one's called the kite.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it takes 6 of these to make a hexagon, and
Right.
it takes 3 of these to make a hexagon.
Are you?
But-
You're not English paper piecing those. You're just throwing those on the
No,
machine.
yeah, you just
those are
sew
fun.
them.
They look like
so
fun.
yeah, so see, you have 2 fabrics underneath you, and if I put that right down on the straight line, I don't have to cut that one. But here we go. So you got this and you got this. Now, typically, either I'd have to move to
Right.
the other side of the table, or I'd have to do something weird, right? But because you've got this, it's the same concept as you was doing. You just turn the mat.
Right.
And then, see, everything under the template is correct.
Yeah.
And so
Same
then
thing.
same thing.
Yeah.
So then you take this and look at that. And
Make
that's
your
gonna make a hexie that I can sew onto another hexie. So isn't that gonna be fun?
Yeah, those
so,
fun fabrics.
Yeah, so, and I tell you, these Marty Michelles, they come in all different shapes and they are fun to play with. But I don't think that I could actually do a correct or a precise job Same with you without the mat.
Yeah, yeah. It just
Because they'd slip on
they
you.
slip around and the fabric and even if it's just that let's say it's a 32nd of an inch, it's still something that's going to
You
add
multiply
up.
that.
You multiply it, it's a problem.
And it's a problem.
It's a problem.
Yeah. Now, let me share with you some of the things I like to do with it. Of course, you know, I love these papers.
I know. And I did the cake mix. We had a cake mix club here that we made those quilts.
Well, that's what this is one of the recipes.
Yep.
But
love it for that.
This is the reason right here that I bought it.
Yep.
Is for this purpose, because I do a lot of these. I do a lot of half square triangle quilts. And so right now, all I'm doing is I'm squaring up my paper. I already sewed it. And the paper comes in a pad, you know, and there's like 42, because there's 42. It's made to go with one of those layer cakes that Mona makes. I think other companies have 10-inch squares too, don't they?
They probably do. I know
Yeah.
we did the cake mix club and it got COVIDized because we kind of had to stop about halfway through.
Oh, darn.
But yeah, this was the next project after the initially doing the just squaring stuff up that we did. That, oh my goodness, I'd have never got through that quilt if I hadn't had a rotating mat because of what you're going to show them right here.
Because right now, yeah.
This is exactly
okay, now
it.
that was no big deal. I could have picked this up and moved it 4 times, whatever. But because it was just on my mat, and I could just go ahead and leave it down there and just move the mat. But look at this. Look at this. So these you have to subcut on the straight lines like this.
Not the dotted ones.
Not
Ask
the
me
dotted
how
ones.
I know.
Because you've done that. Uh-oh. But now look what I have to do. I have to subcut going the other direction. If I picked this up and then picked this up, I'd have to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cuts. Now let me see if I can't get that back
I know, yeah.
together. See?
The point of
And
the
then,
thing,
yeah. And then all I had to do was just rotate it, and now look what I have. Now I also could do these diagonal lines, okay? But it's easier for me to just pick up 3 at a time and do 3 at a time because this is in the
they're in the
seam
seam.
allowance, and so it doesn't have to be as accurate a cut. But so that right there was the
worth it.
ticket for
Worth
me.
it. Yep.
And it's not saying that you couldn't do that same thing on
Yeah,
this. You
it's the
could
same-
totally.
Same critter, same
ta-
rotation.
Uh-huh.
They all spin.
That's one reason that I just fell in love. Now let's talk about fussy cutting, because don't you do a lot of fussy cutting
Oh yeah.
in your template?
Yeah. So.
Here, you can use some of my fabric if you want.
Yeah. 'Cause
There
I
you
can.
go.
Oh, you're so nice. See,
So generous.
this is what friends do.
Yes.
We share each other's fabrics. But yeah, fussy cutting is a perfect example. And again, with English paper piecing, that's one of those things you do all the time. So this little flower right here is talking to me,
Okay.
and she's telling me she needs to be right in the middle of my little piece,
Hexie.
my little hexie. I think I want her stem coming out of there, because when those stems come
Well, isn't
together,
it
it'll do
nice that you can
something
see through that template
Isn't
so
that a
that you
great
can
template?
actually, and it already has the seam allowance. Now you're looking at the template
Right here.
through there, because that's going to be your.
That's what's
That's
going to be on
without the
right.
without the
So,
seam allowance.
Without the seam allowance. So I'm looking at the flowers. I'm looking at every little part in here to make sure I want it where I want it. But now we're back to the same issue. I want to be sure. And I'm using you know, notice this is a teeny tiny little one. I like the smaller blade when I'm cutting on the circle, when I'm on my rotary cutter.
No matter what you're doing,
Yeah.
Really?
I just like the littler blade because most of the time I'm doing detail
little
stuff.
details. I see.
But if I was doing big chunks, I might want a bigger one. But I just love my little tiny blade.
Now I noticed that your turntable gives a little bit. Does that bother you?
Well, it's giving a little bit because when I set it down, oh, I missed a line. See, there you go. I missed one.
that's okay. You've already got it lined up.
I
So
do have it
now all
lined
you
up.
have to do is position it back over.
I'm going to keep this and do it, you know.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's giving because what I did, see, there's my little piece. That's going to English paper piece. Perfect. When I get that wrapped around
Oh,
there.
look at that. Perfect.
It's
yeah,
gonna
it's
be
going
a
to be a cute
cute-
little flower.
Okay. It's giving because I have underneath.
Oh,
You can
okay.
see my strengths. I didn't clean it up.
Well, that's okay.
We had a sales rep in here yesterday showing us fabric, and he was being reprimanded reprimanded because he didn't have his fabric pressed in his presentation. So I should have kept that present. But yeah, right now I've left that under there. So I'm going to tell you about that in a minute.
Okay.
But had I put her right on this surface, the give goes away.
Yeah, because that was bothering me, that give, that little bit of
The give goes when you take this out. And to travel and to take it, I put her all together.
I see.
And I should have just taken that out.
Okay, because this is, go ahead and tell them about what that is.
So this comes with this mat, and what this is when I get all my little pieces, like I'm ironing, I can iron on this, I can put them all together, and I'm back to, I can spin it around when I'm working on it, when it's on here, but I also then can take this to my sewing machine, like you have your pretty little board.
Right, my
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So
She has a built-in design board.
I have a built-in design board that comes with it.
Awesome.
And when you travel, I have a nice big bag. See, I have this bag that's you can make,
Pretty nice.
and it all goes in there.
Uh-huh.
And so when I go to a retreat,
What pattern is that bag? Do
well,
you
this
remember?
is okay. My Annie does a project bag 2.0 that is almost this big.
Okay.
You'd have to make it a little bigger, but it'd be super easy to do, to actually get this mat in it.
Okay.
But it's by Annie's Project 2 bag.
Just have to measure your
Just
thing
have to
and
measure
make
your
it a little
thing,
bit
make it a little bigger. But I like this because when I go, I got it all together.
Yeah.
I've got this sits next to my sewing machine at a retreat.
Awesome.
And that's been the big thing for me. And this would be the same way.
Right.
This sits next to my sewing machine when I'm at a retreat, and I've got my cutting mat. I've got my
ironing
pressing
surface.
thing that I can go back and forth to the tape because the ironers are always 14
somewhere
people.
else, yeah.
Because they won't let you bring irons. But you do need to put this on that.
Yeah.
And you don't have the give.
Yes, okay. Because I was looking at that and I thought, boy, that's one thing that really I didn't like about it,
No,
and
I
I
get
think
it.
I was doing it the wrong way.
Well, probably I gave it to you with this underneath.
Yeah, and so
Because I always
just didn't
have
know
this
the
together.
difference. So,
I keep it all together.
Yeah. So anyway, the same
I
deal
keep
goes
it all
over
together.
here.
Let's laugh about that.
Yeah, keeping it all together now. Okay, I can do the same thing. Same fussy cut thing. So no big deal. So it's all the same thing, and same with this. You know,
you can pick
same
your
thing.
place.
You can pick whatever. So there's that. That's fussy cutting with it. Now, but the other thing that I like to do with mine is, you know how I feel about my stripology ruler. Yeah. I love
This
my
is a dream.
stripology. This is it. Now, you know when fabric comes off the bolt, it has a fold right here, and then the seam, not the seam, but the salvages are down here together, and that's how it comes off the bolt, you know? And so then I just fold it one more time. I fold the fold to the salvage, and you know, you've done this many a times, but you get it straight like that, and then you lay it down, and this is what I just love. Let me clean my mess up over here.
See, we have little piles.
Well, I usually have my little,
I know your bucket. I was
my
about to put my
bucket.
trim in your
Well, go right ahead, bring it over.
Here, I'll help.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, that's too big of a piece to.
Oh, that's a starter ender right
Yeah,
there. You're
right
gonna make
there.
another square.
Yeah.
Now, do you put your papers in there too?
Oh, this is my trash. Now, this is Peter's trash. He threw away way too much.
He did.
He
throw
could get
that
a
away.
bunch
Peter.
of 1-inch squares.
Shame on you. Look at all the 1-inch
I knew that was
squares.
going to come back and haunt me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, bad boy.
So anyway, when I fold that again, the measurement on that is about 11.5 inches. Okay, see that? So it fits perfect on my 12. Now, for some reason in my brain, you know, I have a brain deficiency. Some people say I don't even have a brain.
I thought you were going to say, I have a brain.
I have
Yes,
a brain.
you do.
I do have a brain. But sometimes I just couldn't wrap myself around it being round.
I get it.
See what I mean?
You couldn't wrap
getcha.
yourself around
Couldn't
it
wrap
being
around the
round.
round.
Right. But you're doing that English paper piecing,
Right.
so you're doing all that going around and around and around. So I can see why the
circle
round
shape.
wouldn't bother you.
That makes
But
sense.
I'm all square.
You're
I'm
a square.
all about the square.
I've said you're a square.
Yeah, I'm square. And so then I just lay down my stripology ruler. And this is one thing I like about this mat versus this mat is because it doesn't sit as high up off the
Right.
thing.
It's a little
because
lower.
see, look, if I would to lay this down, this is going to hang down. and this is going to mess me up. This is going to
Well,
pull, and it's going to mess me
right.
up. It may not mess you up.
Well, no, if I was going to be doing straight things, I'd want straight. I get it.
Uh-huh. Okay. So
But I'm
anyway,
not straight.
yeah.
I'm not straight like she is. I'm round.
so I'm gonna go ahead and put that on there.
You want to use my cool little one?
No, I don't.
Oh, huh?
Thanks.
Well,
So much for sharing.
so much for
Yeah,
sharing on
yeah.
that one.
So I straightened that edge, and now I'm going to cut 1.5 inches, and I don't have to think because I got my star, you know. So I'm just going to go in here and do 1.5.
And that star thing, I have a hard time keeping track of the star. I don't know
you
why.
do?
I don't know. But the stripology ruler is the bomb.
It's the bomb.
What star, Dawn?
Pardon?
On the
What
on
star?
This star right here means
That's a half.
1.5. These mean 2.5. These mean 1.5. So you don't have to think about it.
So you're just going to every symbol?
I'm just going to every star, and I'm just cutting. And I'm going to do some, I'm going to need hundreds of 1.5 inch squares for this next project I'm going to be doing on.
You're
Now,
gonna
I've
end-
run out of mat, but that's okay. I'll just pick this up. Didn't quite get the edge, sorry. Okay, I'm going to pick this up. And now this is wonderful. This is the bee's knees right here, people. I need squares. I need 1.5 inch squares. So now all I have to do is turn that. I don't have to mess with these strips.
Yep.
Moving them.
That's the dream. You don't have to
That's-
move the fabric. You,
You
don't,
don't-
want to move the
You
fabric.
don't want to move.
What
the fabric.
happens when you move the fabric?
You lose.
Well, it does. It
Do
doesn't
bad things
stay in
happen?
place. It gets crooked.
shifts. It wiggles and it's not
It's
square
not
anymore.
straight. Like you took all that time to straighten it.
It's cool to be square.
It is.
Isn't there a song? Wasn't there a song? It's cool to be
Hip.
square. It's
Hip.
hip to be
Hip.
square. It's hip to be
You
square.
got to be hip.
You got to be hip to be square. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to put this on the straight line again. And you know how frugal I am. I'm going to move that all the way
Oh,
over.
take that. Yeah. But you take
Okay.
your salvage off. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take the salvage off, but I'm right at the fold. I've took that little fold off. And again, I'm going to go star, star, and see how my fabric just stays straight underneath me. It's all straight. And I know I am getting accurate 1.5 inch cuts because I'm going to every star.
There you
Every
go.
star. And then now, all I have to do, look at this.
Take the little bitsies off.
Look at that. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 7.
49.
49 times 4. Because I had 4 layers
That's
under
almost
me.
that's 200. Almost 200. 4 short of 200.
Wait, that was
In that
200?
itty bitty bit of a time,
Wow.
I already have
Look at all those little
almost
pieces of pepperoni.
200. I'm going to make 9 patches with these, Peter. You know me and my 9 patches.
You should get this piece of his over here and cut it up for you. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm just saying, he's
Yeah.
wasting fabric.
I'm wasting.
Wasting
So
fabric.
anyway, that was the other thing that I loved about this ruler was because it was flat, it laid close to the table, and so I could use my stripology.
Yep.
So my stripology ruler and my half square triangle papers was the
Yep.
2 best things
Yep.
for me. And for you,
Half square triangle papers, again, same thing, because that sheet will fit on here. If we have
Right,
one, you'll see
right,
it fits on
right.
here perfect. Same thing.
right,
And the English paper piecing, fussy cutting,
and squaring up.
and squaring up. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you can, when you think about how many times you pick up and move your fabric,
right.
if you're picking up and moving your fabric to cut it again, then you could use a rotating mat.
Right.
Depending on
Faster.
and use the shape that works for you. Use the size that works for you.
Right.
You know, you may only need this little one.
Right.
Which is great. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, if you're like me and do only little things,
Right.
little bitty things, or if when you're using your Marty Michelle templates or your paper piecing templates, this would be perfect.
Right, exactly.
You don't have big chunks of fabric
No.
to work with.
This is going to be better when you've got a big piece.
This
Absolutely.
is. I think
Absolutely.
so. I think so.
But get what works for you. And
That's exactly right.
and I'm loving my mat. I'm
Yes.
loving my circle.
Yes.
This kind of makes me feel
Yes.
warm and fuzzy because
Yes.
it's all one piece and it stores so nicely together. You know.
Definitely. Definitely. So we need to call, is this Olfa?
That's Olfa.
We need to call Olfa and
think it's
tell
Olfa.
him,
They need a pressing
yeah,
mat.
Olfa, that we need a pressing mat the same size as our turntable.
Yeah, and you know what? This is what's on there. Oh, see, look, it's
just a board with.
just a
Oh, for heaven's sakes,
foam.
we could make that.
Okay, shh.
Always
Don't
in
tell
stitches. We're
anybody.
gonna start making.
But look, that's just a piece. You got some smarty guy. That's a little piece of like particle board plywood, MDF fiber,
Whatever.
Article with some
and this is like a
felt.
sponge, like that foam stuff.
Uh-huh.
There's a piece of batting. That's just warm and natural right there, folks. And there's your cover over it. So
And then the cover.
what an easy. But I'm back to it travels nice.
Right. Well, I could.
But that
travel
travels
with
good
mine,
too. And it would fit in my bag. You know what?
Oh,
I would even let you
definitely.
put it in my. We could let them
Try
share.
it.
Let's try it.
Oh, I bet they would all fit in
They would
there.
all fit.
All of them.
All of it would fit.
Right.
So that is
You could
nice.
use the one you want.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is
You could put the
nice.
table in that bag.
You could probably put the table.
You
You
know,
could put a
I-
small child in this bag. Are you
I
kidding?
probably I have
Your teddy
this.
bear.
I could make one side a design board and the other
Yeah.
side a pressing board.
You could.
you know?
Oh.
Yep.
I know what
So-
Dawn's doing this weekend.
And you know what? Make it the same size as this, and then
Yeah,
look how nice
exactly.
they would fit.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'd be
lots of
just
choices.
like you, Happy.
Except you'd be square.
and you'd be round.
We're the square and the round. Together we make like a nice geometry problem.
Exactly.
How do you put a round peg in a square
remember
hole?
Remember those Tupperware things where they had all the shapes and it
Yes.
was a ball and you put them.
I was
That's
never
us.
very good.
You weren't?
No.
Oh, that's us.
Because I kept
We're the round ball with all the pegs.
You probably were really good at matching them up. I didn't want to do it that way. I wanted it to be random.
Oh, you did.
That says a lot about me.
Okay, it says a lot about us, and that's
It
why
does.
we work good
And that's why we're
together.
the yin and the yang, and we
Yin
do
and
good
yang.
together. So thanks.
So we hope that you in your arsenal have some kind of a rotary cutting, a rotating mat
Spin.
of some kind.
Spin, spin,
I'm
spin.
new to the rotating mat club, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I told Cappy that, we needed to talk about this because if you don't have one, you don't know. You go into a shop, you see the different ones. What do they do? What are their functions? Well, you have to consider what kind of a quilter you are and what your main focus of needing. Not everybody's going to need one,
Well,
to
yeah.
tell you the truth.
No.
But they do make life a lot easier when you're doing these things that we just
Well,
demonstrated.
you have quilted a lot longer than I have, and you've been without one for a really, really long time.
Right,
And
right.
I've not been quilting that long, but I found once I started, like English paper piecing was
That
over the
was,
top.
that was it.
But yeah, I think you can.
Yeah.
You don't have to have it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Mother's
I
Day's
remember.
coming.
Oh,
Mother's Day's
Day, yeah.
coming.
Now
Mother's
I can
Day.
remember
Great
doing
Mother's Day.
this. I can remember with these things. I mean, I can remember going.
Yeah,
Look.
you know,
I'm trying to.
This is how quilters look most
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah. Without
I
fingers.
gotta be careful, but
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
at the end of the day, if you can end up with at least 9 fingers,
I like 10.
Well,
I like to be
see,
a
there's
little.
the square and the
there's
round
the-
again.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, 9's enough. She's like, gotta have 10.
But it's just
It's hard.
It's gonna move on you. It's gonna slip. It's gonna do, and you are in danger when you start cutting towards yourself.
It's bad.
That is not good. That is the number one rule. If there are any quilting rules,
Don't
cut towards yourself.
Don't run with scissors.
Don't run with scissors.
And don't use your fabric scissors for paper.
And if you need some supplies, always come to. Oh, don't borrow mine.
Don't borrow
I was going to
Dawn's.
say, don't walk away with Dawn's scissors.
I was going to say, come to Always in Stitches.
Well, that's true.
You can find whatever you need right here.
That's right. We've got it all.
Okay.
From soup to nuts.
Soup to nuts. We don't have any soup and we don't have any nuts.
We have honey.
We might have
do
some
have
soup
honey.
back in the kitchen.
No, we've got a lot of nuts.
But we've got,
Let's just be
well,
honest.
there you go. We've got
Lots
soup
of
and
nuts.
nuts. You were right.
We've got a
Again.
lot of nuts in this place. You don't have to be crazy to work here. We train you.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well,
Okay, well that was fun, I think.
That was fun.
If you guys got some enjoyment out of this or if you learned anything, leave it in the comments. We'll read them. Peter will talk to you about them and he'll see if there's any questions. If he can't answer them, he'll direct them to us. So, happy sewing, everybody.
Thanks. Have fun stitching.
Bye.
And spinning.
And oh yeah, you got to get the butt wiggle in there.
I'm glad he's at that side, not that side.
Yeah.
Bye.